In the beginning, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, there was an era forgotten by the ages. In those days, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them as wives. These were the Watchers, powerful angels sent to oversee humanity. Led by Samjaza, 200 of them made an oath on Mount Hermon, a choice that would bring eternal consequences. They descended. The ground shook as their feet touched the earth. They took wives, taught them heavenly secrets, and had children. But these children were not ordinary men. They were creatures of extraordinary stature and strength, giants, beasts of flesh and spirit. These giants consumed everything around them. Their hunger became insatiable, and they turned against men, and then against the animals themselves. The Watchers taught forbidden secrets. Azazel taught the forging of swords, while others taught astrology, magic, and sorcery. The earth was contaminated, and God saw. Then the Lord said, "My spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is also flesh. Yet his days will be 120 years. In heaven, a judgmental silence fell. The gates were closed. Amidst the chaos, a man was sent by God. His name was Enoch. He emerged and spoke, 'You have left the highest heavens and defiled the earth. The Most High will judge you. There will be a day when the waters will cover everything.'" The word of Enoch echoed. Most mocked, but heaven was preparing, for the time of divine patience was running out. The plains that were once fertile were now devastated fields. Stone cities rose, built by the colossal arms of the Nephilim. They ruled as tyrants, and humanity began to worship them as gods. Violence was celebrated, and cruelty multiplied. And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. For all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. Desperate, the Watchers begged Enoch to carry their pleas for forgiveness to the Creator. But the judgment was sealed. Enoch returned with a heavy heart and declared, "You will not be granted peace. Your children, the Nephilim, will be destroyed before your eyes." For the first time, the Watchers knew fear. In this scenario, a new character emerged. A simple man with a pure heart. His name was Noah. He was a righteous man in his generation. God found in Noah the last breath of fidelity and called to him, "The end of all flesh has come before me. Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood." Noah did not argue. He just nodded and began to work. While Noah built, the heavens moved. Judgment was decreed. Azazel was bound and cast into a dark abyss. Distrust was sown among the Nephilim, causing them to destroy one another. The remaining Watchers were captured and imprisoned in deep caves. Day after day, the ark took shape. God spoke again, "Enter, you and all your family, into the ark." Animals began to arrive, 2 by 2. Then came the 7th day. Noah entered the ark. The door was closed, not by human hands, but by the hand of God. Dark clouds covered the sky. The fountains of the great deep burst open. Water gushed violently from the ground as heavy rains fell like blades from the heavens. The Nephilim, proud as they were, climbed the hills and the tallest towers, but the water did not respect height. It kept rising relentlessly. The screams were terrifying. The rain continued for 40 days and 40 nights. The highest mountains were covered. No flesh survived. The ark floated over the abyss. The earth had been washed, but God remembered Noah. The waters began to recede, and the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. Noah looked out upon a transformed world. Nothing remained of the empires of the Nephilim. God sealed a new covenant. The sky was adorned with a rainbow, an eternal reminder. But in the silence of the new land, echoes of the past whispered. The lineage of the Nephilim had left its trace. Stories of giant men re-emerged. One night, Noah looked at the sky and said to his son, "Shem, they are back, in smaller flesh, but with the same spirit. But the promise is there. As long as it shines, there is hope, even when the darkness returns." Time passed. In the land of Canaan, the whispers became reality. The children of Enoch, descendants of the ancient giants, lived in fortified cities. It was into this land that the people of Israel marched. But first, they had to face them. The giants were waiting. Under the command of Joshua, the strongholds of the Anakim were taken. The giants fell by the sword. Og, the last king of the Rephaim, was also defeated. Still, it would not be the end. Among the Philistines, another name would arise, Goliath, the champion of Gath, a man almost 3 meters tall, clad in gleaming armor. For 40 days, he challenged Israel. Then, from among the flocks, emerged a young man with a staff and 5 smooth stones in his bag. His name was David, small in the eyes of the army, but a giant before God. You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. The sky seemed to stop, and the stone flew. A short whistle, a dry impact. Goliath fell. The ancient terror crumbled before faith. David ran to him, took the giant's own sword, and severed his head. David would become king, and under his reign, his mighty warriors hunted down the last generation of giants. The warriors who killed the last of them were not titans, nor sons of angels. They were ordinary men, but each of them carried something the giants never knew: the presence of the living God. And so, the profane lineage of the Nephilim was eliminated. Their names became a warning, and in the hearts of the faithful, a certainty echoed: it is not strength that defeats giants, it is faith.